Is it for you to have speed and bring your speed not only in a heavyweight fight but against a guy like Anthony Joshua?
It's very important. It's very important to have. I've sort of had fights, in the past, and I haven't really shown what I'm capable of doing. So we've been working. Since I've been working with Kim, we're working on movement and speed, power. We're working on other things, but I haven't really executed everything to the best of my ability. So it's going to be very important to show class everything that I have, speed, movement, and with a guy like Joshua, it's going to be very important.
Kevin, we saw in the Takam fight, Takam's movement kind of gave Joshua some problems establishing a rhythm. He was kind of hesitant.
That particular fight told a lot about Anthony Joshua. I think that really brought things into perspective. There's someone like Takam who could come into that fight on 12 days' notice when he wasn't even in the gym. He was riding a bicycle around, and to give Joshua the problems that he did told us a lot. And when Eddie Hearn started talking last year, just prior to Christmas, that we want to fight Parker, we weren't even looking to fight Joshua at that stage. And then Joe came to our team and he said, hey, if they want it, let's make this fight now. We think this is the right time. This is a fight that we've looked at for the last 3 years. We knew that one day this fight, providing both guys stayed undefeated, this fight was going to take place. We've studied him time and time again. We've watched him against all different styles. We know that he's a big, strong, powerful guy, but we also know there are some serious weaknesses and flaws in his skill set. And we think there's never been a greater time to fight Anthony Joshua. And if we don't win this fight on March 31, it won't be. It'll be because Joe's not simply good enough. Okay, we think this is the right time and the right guy at the right time.
With that said, then what happens because of his speed? What does his speed do?
Well, the speed is so important, and I believe Joe's the fastest heavyweight. When he really lets his hands go and puts his combinations together, he's the fastest heavyweight in the world. And last year, look, we had not our greatest year. And, there's a few reasons why, and all that will come out in time. We're very pleased with what's been happening in training camp the last 4.5 weeks. I think we're going to see, and we need to see, the very best Joseph Parker in this fight for us to be successful. Joe has great hand speed. He has good movement. And a style like Anthony Joshua, you have to have a lot of movement. You can't stand in front of a big, strong, powerful guy like that.
I'm kind of curious, for heavyweights, you're extremely fast. Have you always been fast, like growing up, or did you see someone and you like that particular style?
Growing up and sort of when I first started boxing, my dad always talked about speed. So he took me to a certain level. But then when I sort of started working with Kevin and started having a proper training structure and training plan, then I was able to pick up even more speed. So, and I like guys like Lennox Lewis, I like guys like Roy Jones Jr. When he was in his prime, the speed that he presented was great to watch.
Were you always fast as a youth?
Yeah.
Yeah, you always had speed?
I had good speed.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a gift.
Possibly, if you had it since you were a kid.
Do you think that they're underestimating you, Anthony Joshua's camp?
I can't really talk on their behalf. They might be underestimating me in terms of the last fights that they've seen me being involved in, but if they underestimate me, then good, because there's going to be a surprise come fight night. Like Kevin said, this is very positive 4 weeks that we've had here in Vegas so far, and we're looking at giving him everything, leaving everything in that ring. So it's going to be a bigger surprise.
The spotlight's been on Joshua for some time now. Do you think a lot of his opponents, maybe they go in, they're almost, I'm not saying defeated, but they're deflated before they even face him? That doesn't hold true in your case, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. I was talking with Kevin and what we sort of seen on the fights that he's had. The opponents already go in and they're already scared of him, or they sort of he's already won the fight because he's intimidating. But we don't he's a big guy, he's got power, but we don't care. That's why we wanted to make the fight happen.
Joe, you and Kevin both are stressing speed, movement, but in recent years you've bulked up a little more. I think you've been in the 240s now your past few fights or so. Does that compromise any of your speed or movement? Is that a concern at all going into this fight?
Yeah, we discussed that as well. With the fights that we've been a lot heavier, we haven't had enough haven't had as much speed or movement as the fights we've had in the past when we're about a little bit lighter. So our plan is to come into this fight a lot lighter than we were in the last 2 fights.
You have a reputation of having a very solid chin. Does that give you extra confidence coming into the fight? Do you have a belief that you look at Joshua and you look at him and you're like, you can't hurt me. Whatever you throw at me, I know for a fact you can't hurt me.
You know, my chin is held up so far. My belief and my confidence comes from our training. When I know they'll put in the work and they give everything 100% in training camp, I'll go into the fight with no nerves or no fears because I know I've done everything I can in training. So whatever happens in the fight happens, but as long as you know you're giving it everything.
Joseph and Kevin, too, how important is the jab in this fight? Because I know in the past you guys have said you feel like that might be Joseph's best punch, is the jab.
Well, I think, if we let Anthony Joshua get his long left jab off and be first to punch all the time, it's going to be very hard for Joe to close the distance. So, the jab for us and for him is very important in this fight. We cannot afford to be standing there and allow him to control things with that long jab. Joe, we talked about his speed before. We need to get that double jab going. We need a lot of head movement. We need a lot of hand movement. We need a lot of body movement. Movement is the key for us in this fight.
Joe, do you think you're going to have to go to the body more than Joshua's been used to?
Yeah.
Klitschko never went to the box.
Yeah. When you watch the previous fights, when Takim hit the body, started hitting the body, he started to slow down a bit, but he didn't hit the body enough. Now our plan is to mix it up.
Does it anger you at all that, including the media, including fans, including actually boxers, are saying we can't wait for Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua fight to happen?
No, it doesn't. That's a fight that if fighters or fans want to see that, then they want to see it. But it doesn't really affect me. I got one target on my mind, and that's Anthony Joshua. That's what I want to focus on.
I'm curious, what do you make of the skills that Wilder has?
I think Wilder's pretty much one of the. Of course, he's one of the best because he's a WBC champion. But he's rangy, powerful. He's actually at the top level because he's a good fighter. So.
How does he compare to the skills you have? And this is a question for both of us.
Well, for me, if I see myself as the best in the world. He sees himself the best in the world, and so is Joshua. So, skill-wise, I always think that I have better skills and probably the same as them.
I think Joe's the most skillful heavyweight champion in the world. I think Joe can do more. When he's on his best game, it is very, very pretty to watch. And my challenge to him this whole camp is to be not to try to be something that he's not, but to go out there and to show Joshua, the boxing world and the sporting world what I see in the gym. Because the stuff that he does in the gym, no other heavyweight in the world can do. I just need him to put it all together on one night on March 31, and we'll leave that ring with all the belts. I need Joe's best performance, but I'm not asking for something that he hasn't got. I'm not saying be better than you are. Just show me on the night what you show me in the gym.
What do you think of this? They've already sold over 70,000 tickets. It's going to be the biggest fight fan attendance-wise as well. Do you think that this puts pressure on him too? Obviously at home, they're rooting for him, but he has to put on a show. Do you think that might actually be to your advantage?
I think everyone has pressure, but it's how you deal with it. I don't feel I have pressure because, like I said, my confidence comes from training. But it's amazing, amazing to be involved in this event. Amazing to be fighting in front of all these people. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be something special and something unique.
There is huge pressure on Joshua. There's huge public expectation. They think they're going to walk through Joseph Parker. They've got him like an 8-1 favourite. They think this is an easy fight, a warm-up fight for him to go and fight Deontay Wilder. I know when somebody asked the question before, do you think Joshua's people are looking past Joe? The answer is no. Joshua's a smart dude. His whole training team are smart guys. They are not looking past Joseph Parker. They know exactly what Joe can bring. They've been looking at us for the last 3 years and we've been watching them. This fight was supposed to happen a long time ago before there was ever any belts at stake. This fight has been inevitable. Both teams have looked at each other's styles. That they will not be underestimating Joseph Parker. The boogies might be, but I can promise you Joshua's team are not.
Does it go 12 rounds? Do you guys have a feeling it will or it won't?
Well, I tell you this, when you look at both guys, Joseph Parker has several one-punch clean knockouts where he's put guys out cold. Joshua, I don't know if Joshua's got a one-punch knockout. Joshua has to hit you with 3, 4, 5 punches. And admittedly, they're very, very heavy punches. But I can tell you this, in 24 professional fights, I've never seen anybody hit Joseph Parker with 2 punches in a row, let alone 3, 4, or 5. Sure, he can get hit, you can hit him with 1, but I've never seen Joshua knock anybody out with 1 punch.
Joe, does it go 12?
If it goes 12, I know that my fitness can take me, and we train for 12 rounds. But like I said, anything can happen in the fight. I want to be prepared to take the best punches that he's going to throw, and hopefully he's prepared to take mine. But I think as heavyweights or as guys who really want it so bad, I think someone will get knocked out.
Speaking of 12,
Has it been a pretty cool thing, like the attention coming into this fight? Like, how are you embracing that side?
Yeah, I think in boxing, you got to embrace everything. You know, embrace the training, embrace the pain, embrace all of this kind of stuff. So I think you just have to enjoy it, you know. Enjoy every part of it. Yeah, I enjoy every part of boxing and what it brings.
speaking of 12 rounds, are you afraid that if it goes 12 rounds for both of you guys, will the business of boxing take place?
I tell you what, we get asked this question all the time. Do you think you're going to get a fair go over there? We hope so. You know, in the contract, when we sat down with Eddie Hearn, it was neutral officials right across the board, judges and referee. But you know, we had the same thing in place for the Hughie Fury fight, and we get over there and the BBBOC decided to take control of everything, and they said, this is our party, we'll say who the officials are. Now we're hoping that that doesn't happen this time. But yeah, all I can say is, you know, Eddie Hearn and our promoter David Higgins both put a contract together that says neutral officials, and I think if we get neutral officials right across the board, I think we'll get a fair go.
Jeff, I'm asking the question, do you think you'll get a fair handshake if it goes 12 rounds?
I sort of,
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I was going to ask you, would that make you more anxious in the championship rounds? Like, damn, I'm in, this guy just put 70,000 people in the seat. They want Anthony Joshua Wilder. It's an even fight. I don't know, but it feels like it. Do I got to give everything, or do you trust the judges?
Well, hopefully the judges we have are neutral judges that we can trust, and I trust in my team to be able to sort of get that sorted, you know. But I mean, if I focus on myself, focus on what I have to do, I'm just going to go out there and give it the best performance. And if I do dominate for 12 rounds, then everyone can see, and you know, then if they give it the other way, you know, it'll cause a lot of attention.
Joseph, when it is fight night, how much different is your temperament than what we see right now? Gentleman, soft-spoken guy. Does it change that much? Are you more cold and clinical in there and thinking? What do you like on fight night?
Fight night's the same as this.
Actually, he smiles a lot more on fight night.
Play music,
You know,
dance, tell
sings
jokes,
and dances.
happy.
I know for a lot of fans on our side here that are going to be watching this, it's going to be the first time they're seeing you. Who were some of the people that inspired you growing up in terms of boxing? Like, who were some of your favorite boxers to watch?
Probably my favorite fighter was Lennox Lewis. The height he had, the reach, and he used, you know, he used what he had to the best of his ability. But then also what he did after boxing, like retiring at the top, you know, tempted to come back, but they didn't come back. You know, just finish at the top level. That's pretty cool to see.
How did you get into boxing?
My dad's named after Jack Dempsey, and he couldn't box because he had a disability. So at a young age, loved the sport, had a passion for it, and slowly got myself and my brother into it.
Do you remember that moment, the first time you went into a gym?
Oh, maybe about 9 years old.
Yeah. How was it? Describe that.
I was
it like love at
stinky.
first sight? It was
It
stinky.
was
That's a good gym then.
I was just learning, you know, and just seeing. It was like a, you know, as a young boy looking at the gym, it's like, damn, look at this. But then slowly, when you grow older and you sort of see the gym, it's just you know, it's a place where people work hard, but it was good.
Did you immediately like boxing?
My dad held up his hand like this at the age of, when I was at the age of 3 or 4. He told me to start punching his hand, and that's when
So you just hooked from there.
yeah, and he started watching tapes, Mike Tyson, and seeing all his knockouts, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury said about a week or 2 weeks ago that if he fought Mike Tyson, Tyson would knock him out. Have you ever went into a fight thinking like, maybe in the amateurs or in the pros, I ain't got it? Or is it just 100% confidence?
There's a few fights in the amateur when I didn't train as hard or didn't have the proper guidance, and then you sort of doubt whether you're gonna, if the training you're doing was good or not. But since turning professional and having the proper guidance, there's no doubt in my mind that I can actually achieve good things in boxing.
How do you see the fight going, Kevin?
How do I see this fight going? I think this is a real fans fight. I think that it's a great style matchup. We have always preferred guys that come forward and come on to Joe. Joe always likes fighting tall guys, far more than when we fought a 6 foot or a 6'1", a 6'2" guy. Joe would sooner fight somebody 6'6", 6'7". So for us, we think that this is a pretty good style. Joshua's a little bit robotic. He lunges with his punches. Not the fastest guy around. Does a few things with his hands. There's definite holes for us to expose openings. But it's far easier said than done. You've got to be able to put it all together on the night. But we have a very good game plan. We're both totally in tune with it. We both are very, very confident in this fight. There is no doubt in our minds that we can't go out there and shock the world in this fight. But I think it's an exciting fight. I've said two guys that are going to come together in the middle and clash. There's going to be a lot of explosion.
Question for both of y'all. I actually had a sat down with Deontay Wilder last week, and I asked him. I said, Deontay, have you ever thought that Anthony Joshua had some help, some chemical help throughout his career? Have you ever suspected, since his body has been the same at 230, has gotten better at 255, have you ever suspected that quite possibly he used performance enhancers throughout his career?
I think he's just one of those guys, genetically probably just worked really hard in the gym. He's never tested positive for anything at all, so, you'd be a fool to say that he was a drug cheat. There are plenty of guys at the moment who are testing positive. Of course, we've got this fight coming up with Ortiz. I just hope that he actually stays in, because I feel sorry for Deontay that he's missed out on a lot of big fights. But Joshua's a big, powerful, muscular guy. Frank Bruno was a big, powerful, muscular guy, and we know what eventually happened to him.
He met Mike Tyson. That's nice.
Well, Anthony Joshua's meeting Joseph Parker.
Speaking of Frank Bruno, he came over here as a UK hopeful. Do you think you quite possibly you have the potential to take over the world? Because being heavyweight champion of the world is like you sit on the same throne as God. Do you think that you have the charisma, because you're pretty calm, the charisma to take over the world? Both of y'all can chime in on that.
It's your turn, buddy. Come on, man. They didn't come here to listen to me. Come on.
Yeah, I think with every fight, as you sort of mature and age, and you'll be able to develop a better charisma, and just I think it's just learning along the way.
Joe's got tons of personality, and I tell you what, just the time that we've spent in the UK, he's won over a lot of fans over there already. The media that we've done there, we've had Sky UK with us a couple of days this week, where they sent live broadcasts back several times a day. They love Joe over there. We don't feel like we're going into a lion's den where there's a lot of hate towards us. We think there's a lot of support and a lot of love. And let's remember, we come from New Zealand. Even though I've lived here for 14 years, we have a lot of New Zealanders living in the UK, and a lot of Australians in the UK. So we're going to have a lot of fans there.
All right.
Is there a rematch clause?
There is a rematch clause, yeah.
How does that make you feel, knowing that you do it once, you got to do it again?
Oh, it's great. We'd love to do it twice.
How do you feel, Joseph, about that?
Good. I mean, they have a rematch clause. We don't have one, so I think we're confident in what we can do. So we know that we're going to go in there and give it everything, and hopefully get the victory they want, and then fight them again. It'll be even bigger.
So for you, it's more of
a more guaranteed opportunity again to face a big fighter in a big stage, as opposed to thinking I got to do this a second time. Is that right?
Yeah, I know this is my shot. I don't care about rematch clause. This is the shot that I won. This is the shot that we got now, so let's make the most of it.
And the business side of it really stacks up for us in a rematch.
Yeah.
You know, the business is not bad for this fight either, but the rematch, it really stacks up great for us.
How was negotiating? Because obviously you hear us, we don't get to interview Eddie Hearn, we don't get to interview you guys quite often. How is the business in negotiating with Eddie Hearn as it relates to this fight? Because us in America, we like, man, when is Deontay Wilder gonna get the fight? When is, you know what I mean? So how was the negotiating?
Well,
how long did it take?
Eddie was, well, it took a while, you know, because, from where we started the negotiations to where we finished, it was a process. And, our team did a pretty damn good job with the business side of this. This is the first time that Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn have had to do a open book percentage deal with any opponent. Let's remember, most people are they'll throw
open what?
An open book.
Revenue share.
We've done a total revenue share for this whole thing. We've had the other opponents who have gone over there and the people who have fought him. They've been happy to be there, and you heard Joe say before, a lot of these guys are beaten before they even get in the ring because they consider hitting the jackpot just, we've got an opportunity to go to the UK, we're getting paid $1 million, or we're getting paid $1.5 million, or someone may have got paid $2 million, and they go, oh, thanks Eddie, that's really nice of you, and they'll jump through hoops and do everything else. We sat down right at the beginning, we said this fight won't even take place. The only way this fight's ever going to happen is we do a revenue share. And that was from week one, and I think about 10 weeks later, and a lot of banter in the media, a couple of trips to the UK, and dozens of phone calls, and getting Mr. Joshua pissed off a few times. We were able to reach a deal that we're all pretty happy about.
What were some of the particulars in
mate, we don't discuss deals.
I gotta ask.
Yeah, no.
You did.
Hey.
How
All that Joe said, he wanted to make sure he had an electric blanket on his bed because he heard it was really cold over there. It was right up in clause 1.
all the pressure obviously is on Anthony. How does it feel to have not all that pressure, just come in here, do your thing, no worries, no stress really? Talk to me a little bit about that.
It feels good, like Kevin mentioned, we're fighting in his where he lives, and there's a expectation from the media and people that he's going to take care of business and knock me out and all this kind of hoorah. But it feels good, because like my focus is training, being in great shape, and there's not really a lot of pressure. But I mean, if there is pressure, it's how, like I said, it's how you deal with it. And if you actually put pressure on yourself, I don't feel like there's any pressure on me. Even if there's a lot of people at home that rely on me or want me to do well, and but just go out there and do your best.
What sparring partners are you bringing in?
We don't talk about sparring partners.
Giants. Big guys.
Because we won't be covering your training camp, so I'm trying to get as much as we can out of you now, because we won't see you until you walk in the ring.
That's right. No one covers our sparring days anyway.
Parker, in your opinion, Joshua's last fight, do you think it was a premature stoppage?
My personal opinion is that I thought they stopped it a little early. I thought the punches at the end didn't really show when in slow motion. And I thought Takum would carry on, but the ref's doing his job. Look after the safety of the fighter.
Mm-hmm. And are you looking for the knockout? Yeah.
If I hurt him, or if I see that he's hurt at any stage, I want to go for it. I want to go for the kill. Try to get him out there as fast as I can.
Were you surprised how resilient he was in the Klitschko fight? Where a lot of people, he was down, looked like he might not be able to recover, and he found his second.
That's just the heart of a champion. That's the reason why he's a champion. He showed true heart, and respect him for that. It shows that when times do get hard, he can get back up and go for it.
Because I know you mentioned that, or people mentioned that a lot of people think, they get intimidated by him. But for a while, I also heard the jury was on him. Is he for real? Is he not? A lot of people's opinion changed after the Klitschko fight. Did your opinion change too because of that fight, or did you always kind of feel he was a real?
No, I mean, the reason why I've been chasing him for all this time is because I respect him as a fighter. I know that he's one of the best in the world, and I think the best fighters bring out the best in me. So that's the reason why we're chasing him. But I've always had an opinion that he's a good fighter.
do you guys make of all the talk online about the last performance? Did it bother you? Did it motivate you more to be even better coming into this fight?
What do you mean by that?
Huey,
The Huey, yeah.
Fury.
Oh,
Yeah.
look, I tell you what.